Hello and welcome. My name's Angie Holden and I'm the blogger behind The Country Chic Cottage. I get questions almost daily on why you need to sublimate on polyester shirts and why you can't sublimate on 100% cotton. So I thought we'd do a little experiment today. So what I have is a stack of shirts from 100% polyester all the way to 100% cotton with a few variations in between. And I thought we would sublimate the same colors on all of those, run them through the laundry cycle, and see what happens. That way you know what works for sublimation and what does not. Now, if you're using infusible ink, the same thing will apply. So this experiment would work the same with infusible ink as it would with sublimation, because infusible ink is actually a form of sublimation. Now, I will link to my favorite sources for shirts in the description below. So if you're looking for sources for shirts, that's where to look. And I will also link to a cute file bundle to make the shirts that I'm gonna make today. So if you want to make a shirt like this and be a maker, then you'll definitely want to head to the description below to check out the bundle of files. Now, to get to the description, if you're on computer, scroll down below the video. There'll be a button that says show more, click that. If you're on mobile, there'll be an arrow to expand the description, or sometimes you have to swipe up to get to the full description. So first of all, I took and printed the files with the same paper on the same printer, the same settings. Everything was the same about the prints. And then I pressed them all with the same exact settings in my heat press. That way I knew that everything was the same for all of those shirts that I pressed. So now let's first take a look at those shirts before I run them through the laundry cycle and see what they look like just pressed. Here are all the shirts after pressing. So this first one is 100% polyester, and I actually pressed two 100% polyester shirts. So this top one and this bottom one are both 100% polyester. Why did I do that? So I am going to keep one of them and not run it through the laundry cycle and run the other through the laundry cycle. That way we can tell if on 100% polyester, if the sublimation fades at all. Then this version is 75% polyester. So that's generally what I recommend for a minimum polyester count. So we are going to go ahead and run that through the laundry and see if it fades. And you can see that after pressing, it looks similar to the 100% polyester below. This top one is 63% polyester. So the general industry standard is 65% polyester. This is the closest one I could find. And you can see that it is a little more faded than the 100% polyester. So we'll see what happens after the laundry cycle. This top one is 50% polyester, which actually isn't recommended for sublimation. So you can compare it to the 100% polyester here and see that it is a little more faded. So we'll go ahead and run this one through the laundry cycle and see what happens. Then this top version is 100% cotton, which definitely is not recommended for sublimation. So I expect this one to completely fade out after just one cycle through the laundry, but you can see it's almost completely faded out on this side in comparison with our 100% polyester on the bottom. Most of my blanks are a light color and actually white because sublimation does show up better in a light color. I did want to do one just to illustrate. So this is 80% polyester and it is a dark color. So you can see that it does show up, however you lose some of the color. Basically sublimation is transparent and the base color is showing through my sublimation layer. So you can see it in comparison with how the colors pop on the 100% white polyester shirt. All right, so now you've seen the shirts and how colorful they are. Heading to the laundry, I'm gonna throw them in and we'll see what happens. So these are both the 100% polyester shirts, and as you can see, the colors did not fade at all. So the colors look the same on the one I ran through the laundry as well as the one I did not. So you can see that 100% polyester, the colors definitely really pop out and look really amazing. This version is 75% polyester. So you may be able to see that the colors are a little bit more faded on the 75% polyester, especially when we get over here to these greens, and I can really see it in this purple area. So it is a little bit more faded, but it still looks really good and really pops off of the shirt. And remember, this one is after running through the laundry cycle. The creator version is the 63% polyester after the laundry cycle. All of the colors look faded in comparison to the 100% polyester shirt. Every single color looks a little bit lighter on the 63% polyester. So basically some of the ink came out. When you're dealing with a shirt that's say 63% polyester in this case, only 63% of the ink actually bonds to the fabric. So then you're only left with 63% or roughly that of the ink after you run it through the laundry cycle. So keep that in mind when you're picking your shirts. This Creativity version is 50% polyester. So hopefully you can see a difference between these two. The Maker definitely pops quite a bit more, whereas the Creativity is faded on all of the colors. Now here is my 100% cotton example. And as you can see, it's almost gone in some cases, like it really faded, but it did kind of stain the fabric. I do think it would continue to fade because there's nothing really for it to bond to, whereas the sublimation doesn't fade really over time after several laundry cycles. So I do think that the cotton would continue to fade. So when you get a look like this, where it's completely faded, the colors are not popping, be sure to look at your material content of your blank and see what it is, because chances are you have a cotton blank and your sublimation ink is just not bonding to that. And just for example, this version is our 80% polyester shirt that is a color. So you can see what these colors look like after a laundry cycle in comparison to the white. And I have a little bit of fading, I feel like, or it may just be where it's blending in with the blue on the edge. You can see that the blue definitely does change the color as well as the appearance, even after the laundry cycle. All right, so now you can see why maybe you're having trouble with your colors popping. So I get that email all the time. People having questions about their colors not popping like someone else's does. So what I would suggest, if your colors aren't popping like on a sublimation tumbler, a sublimation mug, get a 100% polyester shirt or even like a 100% polyester piece of fabric, press your print to that, see if the colors are working. So that eliminates a printer problem. That means it's your blank. If the colors don't pop on the 100% polyester, that may mean there's something wrong with your printer. So that kind of helps eliminate that if you will do that test right off. But that's why I always recommend 100% polyester when you are running those tests. Because as you can see, you can get faded results with things that are not 100% polyester. So hopefully this helps answer the question of how much polyester content do you need in sublimation shirts. So for me personally, I always try to stick with 75% polyester or greater. And as you could see from the video, those really don't fade much at all, so I get really good results. Now, the industry standard is about 65% polyester or greater. I do find a little bit of fading at the 65%, but if you're looking for like a vintage look to your shirt, 65% is definitely a way to go. Anything less than that, and you will be getting a more vintage look, and definitely with something like 100% cotton, you may not get a print at all, or you may get what I got, which was like a staining of the surface, which is going to really fade over time. And with each laundry cycle, you'll see a little bit less and less of that ink on the 100% cotton. Whereas something like the 100% polyester, I've tested it before, and it lasts, laundry cycle after laundry cycle after laundry cycle. I think I did like 35 on my last test, and it was still going strong, and the shirt was beginning to look horrible. So definitely sublimation lasts when it's on a polyester surface. Put it on other surfaces, and as you saw, even after one laundry cycle, you may be very disappointed. So I hope this helps you. If it does, give us a thumbs up. If you have any questions about sublimation in general, or sublimation surfaces, sublimation shirts, please ask those in the comment section below. If you haven't already, head on over to our YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. We have videos like this every week, and trust me, you don't want to miss any of those. So thank y'all so much for joining me, and I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.